Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. So apparently Dollar General stock is super popular, and I want to find out why. Why is everybody buying Dollar General? Why is everybody curious about Dollar General? Is it going to go bankrupt, or is it going to 10x from here? Let's go ahead and investigate, ladies and gentlemen. Sadly, this video was not sponsored. So what is Dollar General? Well, it's a very large chain where they sell very cheap items. They have consumables, chips, monsters, all energy drinks. They have apparel, apparently. I didn't know they had apparel. But it's basically a store that's super cheap that mostly poor people shop at. How do I know that? Well, I use the power of Google's generative AI. Dollar General's typical shopper is an older worker with a high school education who lives in a two-person household, so like retired people, in a rural area and earns less than $40,000 a year. The typical shopper tends to be white, but the store is also popular with black customers. Well, that tells you a lot, doesn't it? There's white people that go there, but there's also black people that go there. Okay, so that's the typical profile of a Dollar General shopper. These are not rich people. Okay, these are people that don't have a lot of money. When you go to Dollar General, everything's cheap. You can get a lot of things for $1. Now, Dollar General is also opening these stores called Pop Shelf. And I know that because there's one that opened up in my local area, and it's a $5 store. It's a little bit more higher quality. So they're trying to get into the, higher income market, maybe $50,000 per year instead of $40,000 per year. But they're also expanding. Okay, they're opening new stores, new Dollar Generals. They're just starting to go into Mexico now, and they have these new Pop Shelf stores, which are it's basically a $5 store. Okay, so that's the typical Dollar General shopper. Now, what's going on? Well, before we even look at the numbers, we have inflation. Everybody knows we have inflation. Everything's freaking expensive. Everything costs a lot of money. Who does inflation hurt the most? It hurts low-income people the most. That's right. Poor people, they have a hard time just affording necessities when there's inflation. And I can tell you, rents are definitely going up. I was comparing rents in my area to what I pay in my mortgage. It's insane. Like 2-bedroom apartments, 3-bedroom apartments are like $500 more than my mortgage. It's crazy how much rents have gone up. And I was only renting a couple of years ago. I had a 1-bedroom apartment. I was paying like $970 a month. Now it's $1,300 a month. It's freaking crazy how much inflation there is. And who do you think gets screwed the most? Poor people. That's right. Because higher income people probably have a fixed rate mortgage. They can make more money. Their wages go up with inflation. Not necessarily the same thing for poor people. So poor people are getting hit the worst by inflation. And the average shopper is somebody that is older and makes $40K a year with a high school education. So it's going to have an impact on dollar stores, okay? Now, during the pandemic, let's go ahead and look at the financials. During the pandemic, they had pretty incredible sales growth. Why? Everybody and their mother was getting stimulus checks and, well, maybe not Dollar General shoppers. They probably weren't getting child tax credits. But everybody was just getting money thrown at them hand over fist. And back then, it was wonderful. Okay, it was wonderful because everybody had money. $1,400 just pops in your account, $2,800. You go spend it. The economy's doing good, man. All these stores are having sales growth. It's because of the stimmy checks and all the money that was pumped into into the economy. Zero interest rates. It was a madhouse. And I think Dollar General was a huge beneficiary of that. Let's go look at the stock price. So we could see before the clown market, let me hide this. Before the clown market, the stock was trading at 166. Then they had a massive run up all the way to 260. And since then, the stock has absolutely collapsed. It's way lower than it was before the pandemic, as a matter of fact. When was the last time the stock was here? Oh my God, 2018? Man, I can see why some people might be interested. Now, let's look at some of the financials, and then we'll dig into their most recent quarterly report. Market cap of $22 billion on revenue of 30. So it's trading below its price to sales is less than 1. Net income of $2 billion trailing, so it's profitable. Earnings per share, they have a dividend. Okay, so they're companies that pay dividends tend to be profitable. Not always, but this one is. Okay, they're paying a dividend. They have a PE of 10, forward PE of 12. So you're looking at this, you're like, okay, Dollar General, it's got low PE. They pay a dividend. It's massively off its highs. How low can it go? I don't know. We'll see. So let's just look at the overall financials, how they've changed over time. So revenue basically is going up at a 35 degree angle. Okay, not as good as the S&P 500, but the revenue is going up and to the right. So generally, that's good. Okay, margins. How are the margins doing? Gross margin, it's stable. Okay, gross margin tends to be about 30%. Operating margins are recently trending down, but they're still positive 7%. And they have a profit margin of hovering around just under 5%. Okay. We'll look at their balance sheet on the actual financial reports. Operating cash flow, still positive. I mean, it's trending down over the last couple of years, but that makes sense because 2020 was the clown market. Operating cash flow is still positive, though. Capital expenditures, they're actually increasing their capital expenditures. Look at that. They definitely went on an expansion frenzy, it looks like, during the time after the pandemic. Because everything was good. Everybody had money. Everybody was spending money. It was amazing. Okay. Dividends have continuously gone up. Okay. Let's see. Share repurchases. So it looks like they were buying back shares, but I think I read in their report that they don't plan to buy back any more shares in 2023. I think that's what I read. And they are stopping that probably because they're a little concerned about what's going on in recent times. So they were doing massive share buybacks. I mean, they definitely took advantage. And funny enough, when the stock ran up, that's when they were doing the most share buybacks. Get out of here. Let's see. Debt issue. They're issuing debt, but that's typical of a business. So, I mean, overall, you look at it and, there's some encouraging signs. They're still growing revenue. They still are profitable. They have positive cash flow. Their fundamental ratios are low. It's probably not going to go bankrupt anytime soon. I mean, it's massively fallen since the highs. I could see why somebody would potentially put some money into this. I could see it. Okay. Me personally, I'm not going to do it. I don't know. I'd rather buy VT than invest in Dollar General, but I can definitely see why people are interested in this stock. But that doesn't mean the stock has bottomed out. It can keep going lower and lower and lower and lower. Let's go ahead and look at some of the issues that are going on. So this is the disaggregated revenues. There's a lot of crap on here, but we'll break it down. Okay. This is the disaggregated revenues of what Dollar General sells. So you can see their categories. They have consumables. This is like the candy and food and blah, blah, blah. They have seasonal items, I guess, pumpkin stuff. I don't know. They're probably selling pumpkin stuff now. Home products and apparel. I did not know they sold apparel. That shows you how much I go to Dollar General. I never go. I go to Dollar Tree because it's closer to where I live. I'll get like energy drinks but that's basically it. Or maybe some candy every once in a while. But if you look what's happened for the 26 weeks ended August 4th, 2023 versus July 29, 2022. Consumables have gone up. Revenue for consumables has increased. Revenue for seasonal items has remained flat. It's down a little bit. Home products has remained flat. And apparel has gone down. So we're in an inflationary times. And the only thing that they've increased revenue on is consumables. And they actually said in their report, the consumables is their lowest margin category. They make the least money. So if the majority of their revenues and an increasing share of their revenues is coming from consumables, that's going to have a negative impact on margins. Okay. On top of that, they're talking about there's more retail theft and all sorts of stuff. Let's look at sales. Net sales increase in 2023 was primarily due to sales from new stores, partially offset by same-store sales. So stores that they already had, they've actually had a very small decrease in sales. Only the newer stores, which are not the vast majority of the stores, are the ones that had any kind of revenue increase. Okay? That's a little concerning. I mean, you would think during inflationary times, a store would increase its revenue because there's inflation. Money's more expensive, And this isn't even just margins. This is revenue. This is the top of the income statement. Okay. Gross profit decreased, primarily driven by lower inventory markups and increased shrink. That's theft, inventory disappearing, markdowns, and inventory damages. Additionally, our consumables category generally has lower gross profit rate than our other product categories. Okay. SG&A has gone up primarily because of higher wages, utilities, depreciation. So inflation is hurting their customer base because their customers are squeezed financially. So that kind of has pressure on sales. And then inflation is also hurting them because it's increasing costs of the business. So there's kind of a squeeze from both directions. So what do I think? I mean, to be perfectly honest, inflation at some point will go away, hopefully. Okay. And then at some point, I think things will potentially get better again for Dollar General. Let's hope inflation goes away. If inflation persists, this stock could get clapped even more. Okay. It's hurting the company. You can tell wages are going up. Sales are flat for same store sales. But if you believe inflation will go down and you believe Dollar General's not going to go bankrupt within the next couple of years, they might recover. It's entirely possible. Okay. Let's go look at their balance sheet. See what's going on with that. What is this? This is just a breakdown of their sales. Oh, here's their long-term debt. Let's look at their long-term debt profile. So their soonest maturing debt, long-term debt, is September 20th, 2024. So that's less than a year away. $749 million is coming due in September 2024. The next batch is 2025, and then you got 2027, 2028, 2030. So it looks like the vast majority of their debt is not coming due within the next couple of years. So that's kind of a good thing because interest rates are a lot higher right now. So this debt, if they don't pay off this debt in full when it matures, they're going to have to issue more debt. They're going to have to pay off the debt and borrow more money and then pay off the debt that's maturing. And what happens is as time goes on and interest rates go higher, you're going to see that their interest expense is going to start really, really, really increasing. So depending on how high rates are, eventually it will start to more and more impact the profitability of the company. But their long-term debt profile is not the worst thing. They have a lot of debt that's at least maturing a couple of years out. And hopefully by then interest rates go down. So not the worst thing in the world. All right, let's see. EPS, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's look at the balance sheet. See what's going on with the balance sheet. So we got current assets. We got cash down a little bit. Inventories are up. That could partially be. So inventories, obviously, what you spend on inventory is what you put on your balance sheet. So the cost of the inventory. So some of the increase in inventories could be just because they're paying more for inventory because inflation is up. But it also could just be a timing issue. Income taxes, receivable, prepaid expenses. So their current assets have gone up a decent amount, mostly because of an increase in inventories. Current assets are $8.4 billion. Current debts are $6 billion. So it's not the best balance. It's not the best current ratio. It's not the worst. Okay. They basically have the vast majority of their short-term assets in inventory, but they're probably turning that over pretty quickly. So they're collecting the cash and using that to pay bills, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they probably run a low current ratio. Let's see. That seems to be a trend with retailers. Okay. Oh, sorry, quick ratio. Yeah. This is not atypical. A quick ratio is a very stringent measure of current assets, excluding like inventories and stuff like that versus their debts. But this is not atypical. It's low, but it's not atypical. And that's probably because they can churn out that inventory and collect cash and keep their operations running. All right, long-term assets. So they have property, plant, and equipment, and they have leases. So it looks like they lease a good portion of their buildings. I think Realty Income leases out to them, if I'm not mistaken. But they own some of their properties, but they also lease some of the properties. That doesn't shock me in the slightest. Okay, goodwill has not changed, so there hasn't been any impairments. Total assets of $30 billion. Long-term debts, we already looked at it. Their debts are usually most of the debt is pushed out at least a couple of years. So they don't have an emergency of a lot of their debt maturing soon where they'd have to pay a lot of interest on. Okay, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Stock. Issued a little bit of stock, nothing crazy. Retained earnings is up. That means they were booking some big profits from Wow, that's a pretty significant increase in retained earnings. This is not the worst balance sheet in the world. There's nothing like atypical that I saw on there. Now, check out interest expense. See this right here? It's basically doubled. Not quite, but it's basically doubled since last year. That's the 13 weeks for the last year. And you see the same thing for the 26 weeks, comparing year over year. And this will continue to increase as their debt matures, assuming interest rates stay higher, which I don't know. The market doesn't know. They're trying to get, interest rates are going to go down at this point. Like nobody freaking knows when interest rates are going to go down. Okay. But the Fed's always talking about higher for longer. Everybody's talking about higher for longer. So who freaking knows how long we're going to have high interest rates? And this will eventually start to affect Dollar General. And you can clearly see that with the doubling of the interest expense. So let's see. But it's still profitable. So you can't hate on old Dollar Ginny too much. Let's see. They're issuing stock. What are they doing? Other equity and related transactions. What do they do most recently? Repurchases of okay, so they were buying back stock, but they said in the report they don't plan to buy back any more for the rest of 2023. Who freaking knows? I mean, it's probably a smart decision. When times are tough, you don't want to just be buying back stock. Okay. Let's see. So here's an interesting thing that I noticed right here. So purchases of inventories for the 26 weeks ended August 4, 2023 have gone down pretty significantly versus the prior year. They still have operating cash flow, and it's pretty similar to last year, but a big part of that is because they're not buying as much inventory. I don't know if it's a timing issue or if it's maybe they're pulling back a little bit. I don't know. Okay, so overall, I mean, they have positive cash flow. They actually have negative free cash. They spent $767 million buying more property. So they're still growing. I mean, they're investing more now in property, plant, and equipment than they were last year when things were a little bit better. And they're partially financing that, obviously, by issuing debt, but they're also paying some of it off. You can see they're borrowing money and repaying it, stuff like that. They're still paying their dividends. I mean, they could probably afford the dividend for a little bit longer. I mean, they're investing a lot into property, plant, and equipment. So maybe, I don't know if that's going to impact the dividend, but you can clearly see they're still paying dividends and they're increasing dividends. So overall, I mean, they're having some issues, but I mean, I can kind of see why people would be interested in Dollar Ginny, but you can't get butthurt if it keeps going down because it still can. It's like, oh, look, it went up, and then it went back down. But you buy the dip, and it's going to go up again, bro. It's not the worst store in the world. I may do some Dollar General DD. I may go to my local Dollar General and see what's going on. Do some real LaFufu research. What do you guys think about that? All right. Let's do some comments. Dollar General, yay. Dollar General, strong man, personal fund. I wish I was a general. Please close down. LOL, they target 100 per person. Someone did a Dollar General a buy now a few days ago. I don't understand that comment. Let's see. Are you a regular buyer from it? I am not a regular shopper at a dollar store. All of my budget goes to Walmart. Like I spend easily $1,000 a month at Walmart. And I know that because I have a Walmart credit card and I charge everything to the Walmart credit card. And it's at least $1,000 a month. Minimum is what I spend at Walmart. I maybe spend $30 a month at a dollar store because I'm not going to go to a dollar store to buy food. Like, no, it's like disgusting. Okay. I go there if I want candy or I want energy drinks. That's why I go to a dollar store. Or maybe I just want some cheap crap. But overall, it's junk. I mean, if you can afford it, why would you go to a dollar store? Like, go to Walmart. It's still pretty cheap, and it's way better stuff, in my opinion. I don't get it. But I guess if you're poor, it makes sense. Did someone pay you? No. Unfortunately, they did not. I wish they did. When stock go down, you sell. When stock go up, you buy. Dollar Tree. Yeah, if you want cheap energy drinks, go to Dollar Tree. I go there all the time. It's $1.25 per can. I'll get like 8 cans. It's awesome. If they cut their, if times get tough, maybe they should consider it. I mean, I don't see the problem with that. Geez, YouTube has been pumping with Dollar General videos. It's because it's popular. I've talked. It's popular, bro. You gotta talk about it. Are we bullish Bitcoin Admiral? Bitcoin Admiral. That's gonna be a store. Watch. If the general falls, the war on poverty will be lost. I don't think the general is gonna fall anytime soon. Did you 10x on any individual stock you bought? No, I've never 10x on a stock. May 2024, maybe, hopefully. All right, that's Dollar Jenny. Let's see. Woo! Yeah, I think it'd be funny if I went to Dollar General and did Lafufu research. Of all the grifters, I feel that Lafufu is the most trustworthy. You think whatever you want, man. That guy's a loser. All right, that's the video. We'll do a Lafufu outro because people are talking about him. Talk to you later. Cheers!
Holy smokers, folks.
Strongman Personal Finance.
Ain't no dang jokers.
Alrighty, folks, big video. So in this video, I want to address the last time I was ever bullied in life. The last time I was ever bullied in life. The last time I was ever bullied in life. The last time I was ever bullied in life.
Howdy there, folks!
You're spending more of our money on those stocks. I'm gonna beat your ass. I'm gonna beat your ass.
Boy, did I get brutalized.